What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be getting into the NCAA Bracketology the March 4th. And yes, we are a week and 5 days away from the first 4 game in the madness. I'm so hyped. And we are a week and 2 days from Selection Sunday. And on Sunday, a lot of the major conferences will end. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I'm going to start to make my predictions for these bigger Power 5 conference tournaments. I already have done for some of the smaller ones. But anyway, let's get into the movement. Starting out with the top overall seed, obviously, is Gonzaga. First team out, Indiana, after a heartbreaking loss to Rutgers. And the last team in Loyola Chicago, right there. And then on this bubble, we got North Carolina, San Francisco, Wyoming, and Michigan. Last one, we got Rutgers. Xavier is all the way down here after completely faltering down this stretch. They used to be like a 3 seed with, I think, like 1 loss or 2 losses. And they are one of the coldest teams right now. They're at threat to even be out of the tournament. They had to do something come their conference tournament. They got to at least get some decent win, or else they could be out. And then Memphis right there, Loyola Chicago, of course. But they're going to have to win their tournament or else they're out no matter what. First for us is going to be Indiana, then BYU. My Cougars actually do have a game tonight in the West Coast Conference. If they win that game, they'll go ahead and play San Francisco in the next round of 5 versus 4 in that seed. That game will be very interesting. And basically, I think if San Francisco loses that game, they would still be in the tournament. But we'll see. That could be a very interesting matchup right there that you probably should watch out for. And then SMU, and then Virginia Tech. And then the next for it, we got VCU, Florida, Oregon, and Dayton. So moving on, we got this 68-team bracket. We got Xavier dropping down to an 11 seed, of course, and Loyola Chicago new to the field at 12. Here in this West region, we got Iowa State dropping down to an 8, Creighton jumping up to a 9, Tucson jumping up to a 13, Seattle new to the field at a 14, Colorado State jumping up to a 7, and Wisconsin after a thriller win against Purdue. What a game that was. They sneak in here. They sneaked a number 2 seed, which is quite impressive. They're a pretty hot team right now. I think they might be the best 2 seed that we got. Maybe. But anyway, TCU is going to be jumping up to an 8. Murray State's going to be jumping up to a 9. Chattanooga is going to be jumping up to a 12. I did predict them a couple days ago in their conference tournament. But anyway, Iona's, if you want to check out that. But anyway, Iona dropping down to a 13. Wyoming's going to be dropping down to an 11. Purdue dropping down to a 3, obviously after losing that game. And then Northern Iowa dropping down to a 14. And then USC, a lot of movement here. USC dropping down to a 7. San Diego State jumping up to a 10. And, of course, Kansas dropping down to a 2 after losing to TCU, man. Kansas, bit iffy right now. We'll see where I predict them in this tournament. Anyway, in the South, we got Marquette dropping down to an 8. Miami's going to be jumping up to a 9 seed. Uconn's going to be dropping down to a 5. Houston's going to be jumping up to a 4. They're playing a little bit better now in their conference. And then Davidson's going to be dropping down to an 11. And Boise State's going to be jumping up to a 7. Then in the East, we got Auburn jumping up to a 1. Wake Forest going to be jumping up to a 9. Iowa's going to be jumping up to a 6. And Notre Dame's going to be dropping down to a 10. So anyway, let's start out this first 4 games, starting out with Rutgers against Memphis. I do think Rutgers... Wait, is that correct? Oh, sorry about that, guys. All right, Loyola and Chicago. I do got Rutgers in this game over Loyola. I just feel like Rutgers is the better team, especially after that win. And then New Orleans against Alcorn State. I'll have New Orleans. And then here we got the right matchup. Xavier gets Memphis. Xavier's just too cold. I like Memphis in that matchup. And Bryant against Cleveland State. I'm going to go Cleveland State. So let's start out with the madness. Starting out with Gonzaga, I do think beats New Orleans. Creighton, I think, pulls off the 9/8 upset. Creighton, I do believe, didn't they beat they beat someone big. I gotta check this. Hold up. They beat Uconn. Huge win out. Right when I was growing on Uconn, they lost. It's not a bad loss. I really do love this Creighton team. I would have picked that upset anyway, probably in this tournament. But Creighton wins that game and advances on. South Dakota State, easy money upset right there. South Dakota State undefeated. I actually did their conference tournament yesterday if you want to check out that. But South Dakota State, that's an easy upset pick there. And then UCLA, I think, beats Tucson, even though they're kind of struggling a bit. St. Mary's, I like over Michigan, but that's a really good game. And Texas Tech, I like over Seattle. Colorado State, I think, beats North Carolina, as well as Wisconsin beating Montana State. So moving on down here, we got Auburn, I think, could beat Cleveland State. Tough matchup. I'm going to go Seton Hall in that game. I could see that game going either way. Again, we have this Arkansas-North Texas matchup. I would have had this upset in any other team, any other 5 seed. But unfortunately, they had to play one of the hottest teams in college basketball right now. I don't see them losing that game. I really do like North Texas. I really hope they don't have to play Arkansas in the first round. Illinois, I do think, beats Vermont. Wait, is this correct? Yeah, I'm okay. I swear this is the same from last week. Okay, wait. Sorry about that. But anyway, Iowa, I think, beats Memphis in that game. Villanova, I think, beats Princeton. Michigan State, I mean, they have struggled a little bit. Notre Dame lost to Florida State. It's just a 50-50 game. Both those teams, I'm not too confident in them. But I'll go Michigan State. They have been struggling. No, that was with just one game. I'm going to go Notre Dame. But Kentucky, I do think, beats Longwood. Michigan State, if you didn't know, they've been, after that Purdue win, they've been going back to their bad self. Arizona, I do think, beats Long Beach State. Murray State, I think, beats TCU. Not sure why they're dropping down. Did they lose or something? I'm not quite sure. But Texas, I like the 12 seed upset here. Chattanooga over Texas. I know a lot of people, I did predict Chattanooga in their last tournament, like I said earlier. But Chattanooga, man, it's a team that you should kind of look out for. They're not the best 12 seed, but they're a decent team. And I just do not have a good feeling about Texas. I mean, it happened last year. I picked them to go to the championship game, and they lost in the first round to Abilene Christian. So that's a pretty easy money upset. It's not anything about the past, really. I just don't like this Texas team this year. Providence, I do think, beats Iona. Wyoming against LSU. Interesting game here. I want to go with the upset. Have I even gone with the 6 seed upset yet? I haven't. And for that reason, I'll go with Wyoming. Not too confident in it, but I think I have to throw in an upset there. And then Purdue, I think, beats Northern Iowa. San Diego State against USC. Interesting game. I'm going to go San Diego State. Yeah, I mean, USC I'm not the biggest fan in. So I'm going to go San Diego State to win that game. And then Kansas, I think, advances on to beat Jacksonville State. And then Baylor, I think, beats Norfolk State. Marquette, I think, beats Miami. Uconn, I think, beats Rutgers. Houston, I mean, they're going back on me. I'm growing back on them, I guess. But they're playing a little bit better in this conference. I think that they can beat Toledo. I don't see an upset happening there. Davidson against Ohio State. Ohio State's fine. they're kind of struggling a little bit, so I'll go Davidson there. I just feel like this is a pretty simple upset to go with. But I could see that game going either way, actually, too. But I feel like Davidson's a really good team, and they could pull it off. Tennessee, I do think, beats Texas State. Boise State against San Francisco. Good matchup. I'll go Boise State, though. And Duke, I think, beats Colgate. So, for moving on here, Gonzaga, I think, beats Creighton. South Dakota State, I think, pulls off the 12-4 upset to continue their Cinderella run. 2 easy upsets for South Dakota State. I know they haven't lost a game, which actually is probably a bad thing. I mean, not a bad thing, but like you haven't experienced that loss and that true competitiveness. I don't know if they've had a lot of close games, but I mean, they're going to be a lot of competitive in this tournament. It was kind of like Winthrop last year. So it's interesting to see what happens, but I do believe in the South Dakota State team. And then Texas Tech against St. Mary's. Texas Tech's all right. St. Mary's is a great team. I'm going to go with the 6-3 upset there. I mean, Texas Tech they're pretty good. I have picked them to go to the Final Four in the past, but I'm not as high of them anymore. And then Wisconsin, I do think beats Colorado State. All right, and then down here, we got Auburn, I think, can beat Seton Hall. Another matchup from last time. Great matchup. I'll go Arkansas over Illinois, though. Villanova against Iowa. Another good matchup. I could see that being the upset, but I'll go Villanova, especially after I picked them to make the Final Four last time. Kentucky, I do think, beats Notre Dame there. All right, so over here we got Arizona, I think, could beat Murray State. Providence, I think, could beat Chattanooga. I still believe in that team. Purdue against Wyoming. Do we have another upset? I think Purdue, they've had a lot of close losses. I just feel like this may help them come tournament time. They're still a good team. I'm going to go Purdue to win that game. I mean, just there's been so much crazy losses that they've had this year, man. Like buzzer beaters, Michigan State, Wisconsin, and a lot of other ones. Well, I don't know if a lot, but those are 2 in the last, 2 matchups or something. So it's interesting. Purdue, though, I think that they can win and then can play Kansas in the next round. Baylor against Marquette. I'll go Baylor in that game. Uconn against Houston. I'll go 5 seed. I mean, Uconn just lost to Creighton, but that's not a bad loss. I still would like Uconn more than Houston. Tennessee, I do think, beats Davidson, and Duke beats Boise State. Although I could see an upset happening there. All right, moving on. I think South Dakota State Gonzaga and South Dakota State, Cinderella run. Wisconsin, I think, also not Cinderella, but I think they end St. Mary's run. That's a great matchup, though. But Wisconsin, they're just playing great basketball right now. Auburn against Arkansas. I picked this upset with Kansas last time. I don't see why we move away from it this time. I'll go Arkansas and Kentucky. I think it beat Villanova. And then Arizona against Providence. I do like Arizona. And then Kansas against Purdue. I'm going to go Purdue. I know I have been low on Purdue, but I feel like these tough losses are going to help them a little bit more. It's just kind of one of those interesting perspectives that I'm having right now. Purdue, I think those close losses are going to get them battle tested. They could go into this field and pull off a win against Kansas, especially since Kansas is struggling to losing to TCU and Purdue's losing to TCU's a good team at 8, but Purdue was losing to Wisconsin, and they're a 2 seed right now. So anyway, Baylor, I think, beats Uconn. And good matchup here. I'm going to go 3 seed Tennessee over Duke, man. That game can go either way. I've been a little bit high on Duke. I realize that they're kind of not the best. They're not battle tested in an ACC that's not really good this year. So I'll go Tennessee to advance, pull off the upset. And then for a spot in the Final Four, that leaves only one versus 2 matchup, and Wisconsin's going to go down. I mean, Gonzaga's going to go down. Sorry. Wisconsin, I just feel like this is an easy game here. Wisconsin, they're such a good team. If you look at what Wisconsin has done, I mean, they're really just playing great basketball lately. And they just beat Purdue. And I feel like they could beat Gonzaga. But again, that game can go either way. And then Arkansas gets Kentucky. Another great matchup. I could see that game going either way, man. I mean, Kentucky, they're kind of unhealthy. I mean, they're, like injury prone. And if that comes to the point, they're going to lose to Arkansas. But if they're healthy, they're one of the best teams in college basketball. So I think they're going to be able to beat Arkansas, the hottest team, and get the revenge after losing to them earlier on Saturday, actually. Arizona against Purdue. I am going to go Zona in that game. Don't think Purdue is a Final Four team, even with what I said. But Baylor against Tennessee. Not the biggest Baylor guy, so do I think Tennessee could pull off this win? I got to respect Baylor's run, man. They're playing good ball. I got to respect them. I'm not the biggest Baylor fan, but I don't think Tennessee can pull off that upset. I mean, Tennessee's great, but, I mean, Baylor's playing good ball. So I got to respect it. So, yeah, for the championship, we got Wisconsin and Kentucky. I'm going to go the 2 seed. Wisconsin? Why not? I mean, it's not the tournament yet. I could see that game going either way. This game, I think Arizona's going to win. More easy for me to decide. And then we got a Wisconsin-Arizona game. I just can't pick against Arizona. I really do like this Arizona team, man. I don't know. I mean, they did lose to Colorado, but there's just something about them. I really do like them a lot. I know they lost. That was probably the worst loss out of all the top 6 teams last Saturday, but they just dominated USC. They've beaten UCLA. I mean, this is a good Arizona team, and it's not like they're not battle-tested. So I feel like they can win this championship. But, yeah, anyway, guys, thank you all for watching this video today. It was kind of a long one, but hope you all enjoyed the bracketologies. I can't wait to get into the March Madness predictions with you all. Anyway, guys, peace out.